I am directing everyone involved in these unlawful strikes to stop these actions immediately.
Breaking news in the last 30 minutes, we've learned that a judge has granted a temporary restraining order mandating corrections officers to stop their so-called wildcat strike immediately. This as Governor Kathy Hochul sends in the National Guard in an attempt to ensure safety and security at New York State prisons. But as we come on the air live at 5, corrections officers continue to demand better working conditions. Good evening, I'm Mary Alice Demler.
And hello, everyone. I'm Scott Levin. Picket lines and protesters now popping up at 30 prisons statewide in New York. From Collins all the way to Attica, we have team coverage for you live at 5.
We go first to Andy Payton. He's in Attica. What's going on there at this hour, Andy?
Yeah, well, Scott and Mary Alice, I can tell you those demonstrations very much still going on here, as you can see, as you mentioned there. This one here in Attica, just one of several that we've seen all across the state and even here in Western New York just over the past few days here. What's been interesting to see is just within the last hour that we've been here, folks in the community have been coming in and providing some firewood that you can see over here and some snacks. If we can go pan over there to the right to try to help out with keeping them warm, keeping them fed, quite literally fueling the fire here in many cases. But the main difference that we're seeing today is across the street there over in the facility and what's inside there. You can actually see a couple of the vehicles now right in front of there, Ben. This is the first time we're seeing this here. Those are National Guardsmen right there. We're told about 12 of them have been sent here to help remedy the staffing situation here. You heard Governor Hochul make that stern promise yesterday saying that if this strike continued, the National Guard would be coming in here, and that appears to be the case after calling these demonstrations illegal and unlawful, saying that this essentially needs to stop here because this is violating Taylor law that prohibits state employees like these correctional officers from going on strike. But the officers that we've spoke to here since we've been on the ground here have said that what's unlawful are the conditions that they're having to face and the fact that they're working in many cases 30 24-hour shifts at a time continuously. They're not being able to see their families. They're not having time to even take breaks for lunch or dinner breaks. And they're saying that this strike is just going to continue really until they start to see an improvement there when it comes to the conditions on staffing, when it comes to the pay that they're asking for, and some serious reforms when it comes to prison confinement, specifically speaking to solitary confinement. They'd like to see that changed, especially with the HALT Act. So again, you can see the scene here. This is not looking like it's going to be stopping anytime soon here, as they've expressed that to us. We did just hear a short time ago from the union for these correctional officers who have condemned this. They said they don't approve this at all. They're working with the governor to try and remedy the situation here and see if they can reach some sort of agreement. But I want to send it over to my colleague now, Alyssa Clausell, who's going to continue our team coverage from Collins Correctional. Let's send it over to Alyssa now.
These correctional officers behind me have now been standing in below freezing temperatures for 3 days in a strike that now has the attention of local lawmakers. Congressman Nick Langworthy today joining the picket line outside of Collins Correctional Facility and emphasizing the calls being made by corrections officers across the state, asking for better work conditions. As of this morning, corrections officers have said there are now over 30 facilities across the state taking part in what is considered an illegal strike according to state law. And in addition to better working hours, part of the request being made by corrections officers is the repeal of the HALT Act, a piece of legislation passed in 2022 that guards say have made it harder to discourage bad behavior in the state's correctional facilities. Langworthy today calling for it to be repealed as Governor Hochul responds to a third day of strikes.
Repeal it. Call a special session, emergency session, go in there and repeal it and let them do their jobs again.
I will not allow this chaos to continue. My administration and I have been and will continue meeting with union leadership to resolve this situation immediately.
As these pickets continue, there are officers inside of correctional facilities like Collins who union leaders tell me have been inside for days as these facilities seemingly attempt to hold on to as many officers as they can to fill the obvious gaps in staffing increased by this job action. And we asked these corrections officers today how long they're willing to stand out here in these temperatures. They say as long as it takes. On your side at Collins Correctional Facility, Alyssa Clausel, Channel 2 News.